Shrouding the Heavens EP114. I'm sparing your life so you can go back and tell them, if they want to fight, I'm ready anytime. Who else wants to fight? Who else wants to fight? Humph, it's getting more and more interesting. Yi Fan, having just achieved the sacred body, defeated Gu Mindao and a host of other experts in succession. His power completely awed everyone present. The sacred body, upon its completion, already possesses such combat power. Among the younger generation, it seems only the holy sons, holy daughters, and figures of similar standing are qualified to fight him. Just as everyone fell silent, a clear and arrogant voice rang out. Gai Jiuyou, an unparalleled prodigy merely 13 or 14 years old, broke free from the old woman's attempts to stop him, insisting on fighting Yi Fan. He believed that only by defeating Yi Fan while they were both in the 4th-level secret realm would it be meaningful. Under the bright moonlight, the peak duel between Yi Fan and Gai Jiuyou officially began. The moment Gai Jiuyou attacked, he displayed a technique originating from the same source as Gai Jiuyou, the peerless figure from 800 years ago, the Dao In Jiuyou immortal melody. This ethereal immortal melody, transmitted from ancient times, resonated with the great Dao. Instantly, it constructed an independent pure land around Gai Jiuyou, isolating him from the outside world. He was clearly close by, yet seemed as distant as the other side of the starry sky, unreachable. Although the immortal melody was melodious and pleasant, it concealed endless killing intent. Its sound waves were enough to make a cultivator's body crack and their divine soul shatter. Its power was terrifyingly immense. Facing such a world-shaking immortal melody, Yi Fan showed no weakness. He activated his own ancient phenomenon, Immortal King overlooking the 9 heavens. He himself stood firm in the void, while above his head, a small world materialized. Myriad streams of Shenhuang Qi cascaded down, forming another version of himself, a majestic immortal king, seated solemnly on a 9 heavens throne. The immortal king extended a sky-covering hand, fiercely striking towards Gai Jiuyou's pure land, clashing astoundingly with the formless Dao sounds within that space. For a moment, the sound of clashing weapons was incessant, as if millions of soldiers were engaged in brutal combat. A tidal wave of energy swept the high heavens. This was an extraordinary battle. The Jiuyou immortal melody was said to be able to obliterate all worldly techniques, while the ancient desolate sacred bodies phenomenon was inherently capable of suppressing all kinds of Dao powers in the world. The two, in a head-on collision, one attacking, one defending, neither could overcome the other in a short time. The immortal king continuously attacked, attempting to break into the pure land isolated by the immortal melody. The immortal melody, in turn, transformed into tangible sound waves, coalescing into forms of immortal spirits like dragons, phoenixes, and white foxes, to annihilate the immortal king. The young cultivators watching were all pale-faced, their minds shaken. Gai Jiuyou, merely 13 or 14, could already use such heaven-defying methods, truly a prodigy comparable to a young great emperor. Everyone speculated that he must have received Gai Jiuyou's inheritance, using the patterns of the immortal melody carved by predecessors, not the true immortal melody comprehended by himself. Otherwise, its power would be even more unimaginable. Even so, it was enough for him to dominate his peers. In this astounding duel, Gai Jiuyou's arrogance grew ever stronger. He wore black gold battle armor, wielded a black immortal sword, his demeanor peerless. He declared to Yi Fan that he had yet to use his true heaven-defying techniques, and asserted that Yi Fan could never catch up to him. To these extremely arrogant words, Yi Fan responded with just 2 words, "Little brat." The next moment, his qi and blood surged skyward. His unmoving, mountain-like body actually merged with the immortal king phenomenon above his head. This was the legendary state of the sacred body merging with its phenomenon, said to bring supreme combat power. The merged Yi Fan transformed into a true immortal king, wielding a 10-zhong-long dragon-patterned black gold holy spirit sword, pressing forward step by step. As he advanced, he also activated the Jie secret among the 9 secrets. His combat power instantly increased tenfold. This surge of power could not even be blocked by the Jiuyou immortal melody. Yi Fan swung the giant sword, his divine might unstoppable. In one move, he sliced open Gai Jiuyou's pure land microworld and forcibly broke into it. Gai Jiuyou was greatly alarmed, hastily raising his sword to meet the attack. However, before Yi Fan, whose combat power was tenfold and who was now engaged in close combat, all his defenses seemed pale and powerless. Yi Fan swung the mountain-heavy black greatsword and solidly smacked him on the buttocks. With a crisp, loud sound, this arrogant, peerless youth was sent flying by the blow. If not for the protection of the black gold battle armor, the consequences would have been dire. After suffering such an unexpected and humiliating attack, the young and impetuous Gai Jiuyou was thoroughly enraged. Although his black gold battle armor had blocked the fatal blow, his flushed cheeks and overflowing killing intent heralded an even more violent storm to come. He quickly calmed down, his entire demeanor becoming ethereal and icy, merging as one with the heaven, earth, and void. He declared he would show Yi Fan the true gap between them and suppress him forever. Immediately, Gai Jiuyou displayed astonishing swordsmanship attainment. He no longer engaged in close combat but instead imprinted himself onto the high heavens, brandishing the black immortal sword in his hand. With every swing of his sword, no specific sword gleam was seen. Instead, it directly manifested a Tao diagram embodying the principles of heaven and earth, suppressing downwards. Tens of thousands of Tao diagrams formed from sword chi fell like a meteor shower. Each one possessed the terrifying power to easily slay a cultivator at the peak of the 4th-level secret realm. This had already surpassed the realm of techniques, and risen to the domain of the Tao. He was directly wielding the power of the great Tao to attack. This truly heaven-defying scene shocked everyone present, including many older generation figures who felt ashamed of their inferiority. People once again associated him with Gai Jiuyou, who was invincible under heaven 8,000 years ago, believing him worthy of the title heaven-defying prodigy. However, Yi Fan also displayed extraordinary strength. Merged with his immortal king overlooking the 9 heavens phenomenon, he transformed into a supreme war king, clashing head-on with the great Tao using pure strength. Though the movements of the dragon-patterned black gold Holy Spirit sword in his hand seemed slow, yet they contained a destructive might. One by one, it shattered all the Tao diagrams filling the sky. This was a peak duel of breaking the Tao with strength. Yi Fan, with his own power, resisted the will of heaven and earth invoked by Gai Jiuyou. Seeing that he couldn't win, Gai Jiuyou once again increased his combat power. He activated another supreme divine art. A brilliant, 7-colored divine spirit eye opened on his glabella. This eye was rumored to be an inheritance from Gai Jiuyou's lineage, capable of seeing through all things. The divine light it emitted possessed terrifying magical power capable of destroying everything.
The 7-colored, rainbow-like divine light shot down.
Its power was immense. Even the holy weapon in Yi Fan's hand hummed, and his arm went numb. To counter such a divine art, Yi Fan pushed the potential of his sacred body to its absolute limit. He simultaneously merged the immortal king overlooking the 9 heavens and azure lotus planted in chaos 2 great phenomena into his body, which erupted with 10,000 zhongs of golden light, activating the unique indestructible golden body after the sacred body's minor completion. At this moment, he was like a war god cast from gold, even his hair burned with golden divine flames. His physical body was indestructible, impervious to all techniques. He ascended to the heavens in one step, actually using his golden fists to resist the 7-colored divine light shot from the divine spirit eye. Amidst the dazzling storm of energy, he advanced step by step towards Gai Jiuyou in the high heavens. Gai Jiuyou was finally moved. He realized that if this indestructible golden body got close, he would undoubtedly be defeated. In desperation, he made a crazy decision, to forcibly use a forbidden melody that surpassed his current realm. The divine eye on his glabella merged with the surrounding Tao sounds, unleashing the final chapter of the Jiuyou immortal melody, the tribulation crossing immortal melody. The moment this melody began, the very heavens and earth changed color as a supreme might, far surpassing anything before, surged forth. Merely its prelude was enough to send Yi Fan, even in his golden body state, flying hundreds of zhongs away. However, this power was also far beyond what Gai Jiuyou's current cultivation level could control. In the distance, his gray-robed old servant cried out in terror, reminding him that this move was only meant to be used by those at the dragon transformation realm. Before the servant's warning was complete, the immortal melody stopped abruptly. Gai Jiuyou violently spat out a mouthful of blood, severely injured by the divine melody's backlash, and his body swayed precariously. Seizing this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, Yi Fan moved like a comet streaking across the sky, instantly appearing in front of Gai Jiuyou. Amidst the crowd's exclamations and pleas for mercy, he did not deliver a killing blow. Instead, he lifted the weakened Gai Jiuyou, raised his large shining golden palm, and delivered a series of hard smacks to his battle armor-clad buttocks.
The crisp sounds echoed in the silent night sky.
This heaven-defying prodigy, who looked down on his peers and dominated the world, was being treated like a misbehaving child amidst his shrieks of anger and shock, suffering an unforgettable humiliation. No one had expected that Gai Jiuyou, who had previously played the supreme tribulation crossing immortal melody, causing heaven and earth to change color and appearing comparable to a young great emperor, would now be held in Yi Fan's hand and spanked on the buttocks with a golden palm like a disobedient child. This stark contrast left all the cultivators present dumbfounded, hardly able to believe their eyes. When had this prodigy of heavenly talent, with his soaring arrogance, who had dominated his peers and been surrounded by countless halos since his debut, ever suffered such an outrageous humiliation? Flustered and exasperated, he struggled fiercely, but he was completely weak due to the backlash from forcibly activating the immortal melody and was unable to harm Yi Fan in the slightest. Under Yi Fan's teasing questioning, he stubbornly replied, "I'm not convinced," as tears welled up in his eyes. Amidst a violent struggle, his disguise suddenly vanished. His Adam's apple disappeared and his heroic air softened, revealing an incredibly beautiful young girl with rosy lips, white teeth, and snow-like skin. This shocking discovery once again electrified the crowd. The incomparably strong peer-dominating supreme expert was actually a little girl merely 13 or 14 years old. Everyone was shocked, and they finally understood why he was so beautiful. At this time, Gai Jiuyou's two gray-robed old servants rushed over, expressionlessly requesting Yi Fan to release her. People from the Zhang family also stepped forward to plead, revealing Gai Jiuyou's powerful background. Seeing this, Yi Fan released his grip and even playfully ruffled her beautiful hair, giving her a playful tap and telling her to behave. Gai Jiuyou shrieked in anger but was firmly held back by the old servants. Finally, using a teleportation array, she disappeared into the night sky under resentful gazes. With Gai Jiuyou's departure, Yi Fan's gaze swept across the crowd, once again asking if anyone else wanted to fight him. Under the night sky, there was complete silence. No one dared to step forward. Whether it was the golden-winged Xiaopeng king, holding the great desolate halberd and eager to fight but firmly held back by his elders, or the Yaoguang holy sun, the Ji family's divine body, and other top figures of the eastern wasteland, they all chose silence. In an instant, everyone reached a consensus. Within the fourth-level secret realm, Yi Fan, with his newly completed sacred body, was already invincible. To kill him, it would require a holy sun-level expert using dragon transformation realm cultivation to crush him with a higher major realm. However, the fact that no one stepped forward did not mean the killing intent had dissipated. On the contrary, waves of icy killing intent permeated the darkness, especially from the various sect masters from the Central Plains. They had witnessed the sacred body's might firsthand and already considered him a huge future threat. The idea of nipping him in the bud grew in their hearts. Just as these undercurrents surged, the peerless god king Jiang Taishu, who had emerged from the divine flame grotto, walked up to Yi Fan and placed a god king's mark into his body. This mark was a powerful protective talisman. Whoever wanted to kill Yi Fan would be sensed by the god king. This was undoubtedly a stern warning to all those with ill intentions. The curtain of the great battle fell, but the ripples it caused had just begun. The news of Yi Fan breaking the sacred body's curse and suppressing his peers with unrivaled power swept through the eastern wasteland like a storm and shook the Central Plains. In the following days, his residence was bustling with visitors. Successors from various holy lands, ancient families, and major sects came to visit one after another, making connections and leaving him exhausted. Yi Fan knew well that the sincerity of these people all depended on his future achievements. Amidst this clamor, Yi Fan was most concerned about the God King's safety. He spent most of his time accompanying the God King, hoping for a miracle to happen, but the God King's flame of life grew dimmer and dimmer. Please give us a like and subscribe, fellow Taoists. Let's continue our chat in the next episode.